Hello class, welcome to Didactics class. Today we will review some facts about the first language acquisition. Well, as a first fact, in the second half of the 20th century research started. Many researchers started to analyze how kids first started to learn the language. Do they listen the words? Do they listen the patterns? How do they learn the first language? And how the first language acquisition can affect my second language acquisition? To outline issues in the first language learning as a foundation to understand the principles of the second language learning. This is the main objective of this chapter. We will mention some approaches for this topic. The first one is the behaviorist approach. It is focused on the immediately perceptible aspects of linguistics behavior, the publicly observable responsibles, and the relationships between those responses and events around them. What does it mean? Well, it means that when kids are learning to listen and identify, they just make relationships between the words and the actions, what is happening around them. Know the real meaning of the word. The second approach is the nativist. The term nativist is derived from the fundamental assertion that language acquisition is innately determined. We are born with a genetic capacity that disposes us to a systematic perception of language around us, resulting in the construction of an internalized system language. This is when the kids are able to understand and make a construction of a full sentence. In the nativist approach, according to Chomsky, the language acquisition device is a consistent of 4 innate linguistic properties that we are going to mention right now. The first one is the ability to distinguish speech sounds from the other sounds in the environment. The ability to organize linguistic data into various classes that can later be refined. The third one is the knowledge that only a certain kind of linguistic system is possible and other kinds are not. The last one is the ability to engage in a constant evaluation of developing linguistic system so as to construct the simplest possible system out of the available linguistic input. What are some of the contributions that we have from this? Well, the first one is the freedom from the restrictions of the so-called scientific method to explore the unseen linguistic structures being developed in the child. Then we have the systematic description of the child's linguistic repertoire. And the last one is the construction of a number of potential properties of a universal grammar. Then we have the functional approach. This has 2 emphases. The first one is research began to see that language was one manifestation of the cognitive and affective ability to deal with the world, with others, and with the self. Moreover, the nativistic frameworks were abstract, formal, explicit, and quite logical. They deal with the forms of language and the meaning created by social interactions. Some of the issues that we can identify in the first language acquisition that can affect my second language acquisition are the competence refers to one's underlying knowledge of a system, event, or fact. It is the non-observable ability to do something. 2 is the performance. Is the overly observable and concrete manifestation or realization of competence. It is the actual doing something, like, for example, walking, singing, dancing, or speaking. In reference to language, competence is one's underlying knowledge of the system of a language, its rules of grammar, its vocabulary, all the pieces of a language, and how those pieces fit together. Performance is actual production, speaking and writing, or the comprehension, that is listening and reading of linguistic events. Those are some of the facts that we can mention about this chapter, and I hope they will be useful for you. Thank you so much.